Just real quick, something I accidentally did off screen. If you press A on this patch of grass right here, then you'll get a free Pokeball for your troubles, but that's really just, it's not super important, but just something that some of you might want to know. Anyways, hello friends, this is Kevin, aka K-Man1, coming at you with another episode of Pokemon FireRed version. In the last episode, we had two pretty major battles, one against our rival Gary Oak, and the other against the first gym leader, Brock. Also, thanks to our mother, we now have the ability to go very, very fast. And in this episode, we're gonna be using our newfound Go Fast powers to take on route number 3, and I'm gonna make sure, nope, Jerk wasn't in front, so I'm gonna put Jerk in front, just so it gets a little bit more experience on this route. Because it's fallen behind in levels a little bit, because I was pretty much exclusively using Charmander, because it was gonna be way more useful against the first gym leader. But yeah. And using Pikachu now, I realized that I didn't actually go over how Pikachu works. So basically, it's a fairly balanced offensive Pokemon. It has good both physical and special attacking stats. And it's decently fast, but it is very, very frail in its unevolved form. So it definitely won't be tanking many hits, even if it resists them. I mean, it will early game, just because nothing really does any damage. And even Pikachu isn't really able to one-shot anything. But later on in the game, once Pokemon have more powerful moves, it's definitely going to be going down pretty quickly. So that's just something to keep in mind. Also, this actually happened off screen and I haven't really bothered to point it out, but Pikachu learned the move Thunder Wave, which doesn't do any damage, but it is guaranteed paralysis. So that's very, very handy, and I'm definitely going to be using it more than a handful whenever I need to catch Pokemon. So yeah. And here is the introduction of not only bug catchers, but bug catchers who have Pokemon which rightfully should be fully evolved. Yeah, he has a level 10 Caterpie, which means that Caterpie could have already been a Butterfree right now, unless he happened to catch it at level 10, but there are no places here that you can catch basic Pokemon at that high of a level. So it's just like, he's willfully preventing his Pokemon from evolving for no real reason. And it's ridiculous. So, I mean, it's like I would kind of understand not wanting to evolve it into a Metapod, but at the same time, you get to keep Tackle if you evolve it manually, so it's not like you won't be able to use any offensive moves. So it's just like, stupid trainers are stupid, you know? And another mechanic of the game that I haven't explained, because me being me, thought it was pretty self-explanatory. Power points, it's the things that say PP on the side of the screen. That's how many times you can use a move. Each move has a different amount of power points. Most moves early game are going to have 30 or more. But later on in the game, there are going to be moves that have as few as 5 power points. And basically that's your mana system. You can only use a move as many times as it has power points. And the only way to restore them is by using special, fairly rare items, or by going to a Pokemon Center. So yeah, that's really all there is to that. And I want to say there are moves that have as many as 50 power points, but I'm not completely sure off the top of my head, and I didn't bother to look it up even though I knew that's what I was going to be mentioning early on in this episode. But what you gonna do? Anyways, here we have probably the best written line of dialogue in any Pokemon game to date. Hi, I like shorts. They're delightfully comfy and easy to wear. Yeah, this is the first of many youngsters in Pokemon history who is he's just really happy about wearing shorts. And I mean, like, I'm wearing shorts right now, in case you were concerned. But I'm not like going around telling people, oh man, shorts are the best. I always wear shorts. Shorts are delightfully comfy and easy to wear. These guys take obsession with clothing to a brand new level, and I'm actually going to need to use a potion here because my Pikachu is on 0 HP right now. Also, I should start referring to him by his nickname, even though, you know, Jerk is kind of a weird nickname. And I'm kind of regretting, slightly, having chosen the name Jerk for my Pikachu. Just because, like, as much as I was frustrated at the time, it's like now I'm going to need to be calling him Jerk for a long time. And I don't know, I might stick with it, it might grow on me, but for the time being, I'm just waiting until I can actually change its nickname. So, okay, Quick Attack, cool. Quick Attack is our first example, well, it's our first non-electric type move on Pikachu, which is very, very handy because now he can do something against ground types. But it is also our first encounter with a priority move. Basically, moves that have priority mean that they will always take precedence over other moves. So since Quick Attack has +1 priority, it'll take precedence over any move that has less than that. And in the case of moves that have the same priority, it'll basically just be like them with their speed stats, duking it out. So yeah, and there are a handful of other moves like that, but none that we're really going to have access to in the near future, or at least none that come to mind. Yeah, no, there aren't really any that are going to be coming up very soon. There are some that don't even exist yet in this generation, but that's not really something we're going to be dealing with. And I'm going to go ahead and heal up Pikachu because it is, again, on very low health, mostly because I'm trying to not go back to Pokemon Centers. But it is what it is. Anyways, here in this labyrinth, most of these trainers are actually avoidable. I just haven't really been avoiding them because, you know, I like to flesh out these episodes, have a little bit more content for y'all. Since I am posting these every day, I figure I might as well give y'all your money's worth. And well, I mean, you're not paying to see them. So honestly, I could do whatever, and you would have no right to complain because, I mean, you're getting it for free anyways. But I mean, you know, I like to, as much as most of the videos so far have been pretty short, I feel like there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of a longer episode, especially since we are training up our Pokemon to decent levels. So yeah. It's kind of awkward though, because these battles don't really have much of gameplay to them, and especially now that he's throwing out his Cocoon Pokemon, it's just going to be like spam Thunder Shock, and he basically can't do anything back to me because the only moves he has are Harden. Fortunately, I seem to be two-shotting everything at this point, which is very, very nice, and I'm extremely happy about that. And woo, level 12! Hooray! Look at all those stats. And honestly, my stats are very low right now, but that's mostly because I'm low leveled. So that's all there is to it. Also, another thing that I meant to talk about. I referenced in the first episode the fact that my Charmander has an adamant nature. The way natures work is that most of them will basically apply a 10% modifier to two stats, so it'll always raise one at the expense of another. So adamant nature raises physical attack and lowers special attack. And since I'm really, after the first gym, wanting Charmander to be more of a special attacker, it's kind of disappointing that its special attack is going to be lowered slightly. But it's not a huge deal, and it's not like game losing by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, you know, there are going to be those times where it holds on with, where the enemy Pokemon holds on with 1 HP, and I'm going to be like, if I had a different nature, but whatever. On the bright side, though, having that adamant nature really did help me against Brock because my attack stat was ever so slightly higher. So, you know, always got to look on the bright side of things like that. And this Caterpie is just blowing my speed, which is very, very rude of it, but it's not going to matter because I'm still faster than it. Because Pikachu is one of the fastest Pokemon that you can get early on in the game. Not the absolute fastest you can find this early, if I'm mistaken. Especially because there are some Pokemon that can evolve pretty early, and therefore have stronger stats because of it. Yeah, it's kind of funny in Pokemon how when Pokemon evolve, sometimes they get like bigger and bulkier, but their speed still goes up by a lot. So like the craziest example is the grass type starter Bulbasaur, because like when it evolves, it gets like really, really fat. But its speed stat increases anyways. So it's just like, okay, game logic, Nintendo logic, if you will. Anyways, in this grass right here, there are a few new Pokemon available to us, one of which I'm actually looking at using on my team, so I'll go ahead and cut to when I find it. See you guys back in just a minute. And it's not Pidgey. I've already caught a Pidgey, and I'm not going to be using Pidgey. It's going to be a new Pokemon, so yeah. See you back in just a moment. Alright, and so, in the last time I'm ever going to be using a rare encounter in a Let's Play, we have a Jigglypuff, which is incidentally only level 3, which means I'm probably going to do a little bit of off-screen grinding between this episode and the next, just so we can catch up. But anyways, Jigglypuff is kind of a jack-of-all-trades sort of Pokemon. It's not really particularly good at anything except that it has a massive HP stat. And it learns a couple of really fun moves, not the least of which being Sing, which is our first instance of a sleep-inflicting move. And I am going to be nicknaming it. Alright, and the nickname is Jaggleboof. Yeah, Jaggleboof is just what my brother and I call Jigglypuff all the time, so just a little in-joke that we have between us. But as I was saying, Sleep is a new status ailment that basically it renders your Pokemon completely helpless for a few turns. I believe it's 2 to 5 in this generation? Question mark? But yeah, it leaves them helpless for a short period of time, and it will automatically wear off after a few turns. So yeah, it's a really good status, and it gives a ×2 multiplier to catch rates, but since it is temporary, you will have to reapply it over the course of a battle. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. Also, there are a couple of moves that can only be used while you're asleep, but we'll get to those once we have access to them. Anyways, this guy, if you talk to him, he's just like, "Hey there, laddie, I've got a deal for you. I'll let you have a secret Pokemon, a Magikarp, for just $500. I can't decide if I was pirate or Irish there. Anyways, he'll sell you a Magikarp for $500, and I'm not going to be taking the deal personally. Magikarp is a pathetically weak Pokemon. It is easily one of the most worthless in the game. But if you get it to level 20, then it will evolve into one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. But I'm personally not going to be dealing with something that's going to be a complete deadweight for 15 levels, just to have a pretty game-breaking Pokemon. Anyways, right out here, you'll notice there's like a small little different colored circle in the grass. Whenever you see one of those, you can just press A and you will find a berry. But anyways, in this episode, we traveled through Route 3 and caught ourselves a brand new team member. And in the next episode, we are going to be moving on to the mysterious cave by the Pokemon Center. See you guys then.